Well, kind of excited this morning. I'm going to take Rimrocker, which is a trail, comes out of Moab, and I think it goes for like 160 miles. I don't know that I'm going to do 160, but I certainly want to get onto it and see what it's like. It's ever changing, goes along ledges, goes through rivers, only about a foot deep. Just a surprise around every corner as I understand it. So I've got a little ways to go before I get up to the trail itself. And this is the trail that I'm taking up to find Rimrocker, headed towards the mountain. This is going to be an adventure. I've aired down the tires to 22 pounds and away we go. Please close the gate. Well, you've heard me talk a lot about Gaia GPS, and I love it. Helps me find places to camp. And in particular, it's going to tell me things like, is this public land or is it private land? A whole slew of information. However, there's another application that I use when I'm looking for a trail and driving that trail. For instance, you'll want to know things like, how difficult is that trail? How long is it? Are there campsites along it? Just a slew of things that you'd like to know. And that is onX, O-N-X. And onX gives you a lot of really good detailed information about a trail and the track. And like Gaia GPS, you can download the map, so that when you get out there in the wilderness and there's no cell phone service, then you just use the map and it knows exactly where you are because it's coordinating off of the satellites. Of course, it's important that you download the map just like in Gaia GPS. Otherwise, it's going to be rather hard to use. Let's put it that way. Right now, I'm downloading a map for onX, and look at the way I'm doing it. So I have put it up as high as I can get it to get 3 bars. Otherwise I was getting 2, was downloading rather slowly. It's doing a fair job with 3 bars. And I'm doing like a 150-mile map, so a rather large one. As soon as this is done, I'm up the trail. Okay, the maps have finished downloading. Hop in the passenger seat. Let's take a short ride. We're going to take one of the trails. Now, the Moab system of trails is vast. It has all kinds of difficulties as far as trails are concerned and different lengths and stuff. You probably don't want to be there in the middle of the summer because it'll be 100 degrees out there and probably wouldn't be much fun. What we want to do at this point is to get up to the Rimrocker Trail. But first, let's take a look at some of the information about Rimrocker. I'm going to zero in on a section here of the trail that I know is Rimrocker. And just touching the trail then brings up this information panel. And we can see that its difficulty is easy. The technical rating is a 4 out of 10. And because Rimrocker is a system of trails that stretches out over 160 miles, the particular section that we're looking at here is 34 miles, and it gives us the elevation changes, the best times to be on the trail, which types of vehicles can access that part of the trail, as well as an overview. And then there are photos that people have contributed to that, and we could contribute our own photos to this. Then it goes in and talks a little bit about, explains the difficulty rating and the technical rating, and how you can navigate to get there to that trail, as well as some of the history behind the trail. And of course, lastly, the forecast. So there's a lot of good information that we would not have otherwise without having onX here. One of the things that onX allows us to do is route planning. So the red X that you see here is where I was camped, and what we're going to do is to travel up this red dotted line on various trails until we intersect and are on the Rimrocker Trail. Now, it's interesting to note that if I touch this particular part of the trail right here, it says it's unnamed. Whereas in the online version of onX, it clearly states that this is a Rimrocker Trail. And this also right here. So just bear that in mind. But various segments in the mobile app are labeled, and you just string them together and figure out how to navigate there. And I'll also note that I've added some waypoints in here that are turn indicators telling me whether it's a turn left or right. And I did that when I was doing the route planning here. All right, let's get underway. Off to the right, there's a cliff. Hello, tree. How's that for a hairpin? Okay, up ahead it should split, and on the right would be Rimrocker. split. I want to see what the sign says. So you can see what this says. RR, Rimrocker Trail, Montrose to Moab. Well, I think I'm headed away from Moab. About 160 miles in that way. My gas gauge says I got 245 miles that I can go. So, wish me luck. Here. Pretty quiet too. I've only seen one other couple, and that's before I got onto the Rimrocker trail here. I've been traveling about 3 to 5 miles an hour, so that is going to take a long time. And since I'm trying to get back down to Florida, and I have started that journey, I can't take a number of days off just to travel the trail. But it's fun to have driven this. You've seen how parts of it are. I can only imagine what things are like further on. It must be beautiful. Well, even in the mountains, there's flies. That's a long ways down, isn't it? And I was actually on at least one of those trails, if it's not the same trail. So this is the onX application. That little blue dot is where I'm at. This blue trail is the trail that I'm on currently, which is the Rimrocker. And as we zoom out, I think if I can make it all the way over to here and then head down on this trail, sorry about that, then there's a Highway 40 right here, and I may just take Highway 40 out of here. I'm going to take advantage of the daylight. Okay, the intersection that I'm sitting at is the Sal Pass, and this is where I'm going to exit because there is a hurricane coming to Florida, and I have some other things that I need to tend to down there. So I'm going to have to make the trip all the way back down to the southern tip of Florida there. Okay. But the thing that I'm curious about is how well do we agree with the information that's been provided by onX Offroad. And so as I look at the information about the trail here, the difficulty says it's easy. I would have to agree. It's fairly easy. The technical rating, depending on which part of the trail that we were looking at, was 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. I would say it's probably 3 out of 10. The biggest problem that I had was there was a lot of loose rocks on the portion of the trail and a lot of sharp rocks sticking up, and I was continuously on the alert trying to avoid those sharp rocks and stuff. And there was a couple of times when the truck got jarred pretty good, but nothing that we couldn't handle there. I am heavily loaded. I probably would have been going faster than I was, which was only about 3 to 4 miles an hour. And of course, at that speed, the Rimrocker trail would have taken a long time. So, yeah. And let's move on down here. If you look at the technical rating, uneven, rutted dirt trail with potential for loose rocks and sandy washes. Water crossing. Well, I didn't have any water crossings in this section, so that was good. Very few mud holes. Nothing that bothered me there at all. There were some fairly steep grades, but not real steep. So we were good there too. The last statement there, though, about the roads are typically one vehicle wide with places to pass. As I was driving sections, there was not a lot of places to pass. And it would have been interesting if I had encountered somebody coming in the other direction. So that's Rimrocker, and that is onX Offroad. And I'll hope to see you out here on the roads somewhere, sometime.